My pregnant wife's shopping stop with male coworker after work led her to move out to the curb after I figured out what it actually was. Long-time reader, first-time poster. Not sure what I'm looking for. I guess just advice and support. Hopefully this is the right subreddit. I can't believe I'm posting this. It doesn't seem real, and I've read similar stories before, never imagining it could happen to me, but here it goes. Quick backstory. I first met my wife in November 2006. I was 19 and a college sophomore. She was 18 and a freshman. We have been living together for 11 years and owned our home together for 6. We have a 3-year-old daughter together, and found out she was pregnant in September 2018 with my son. He was born June 6, 2019. Over the past couple months I've felt like we had both been distant from each other. I didn't think anything too bad, just not talking as much, having smaller fights, generally just feeling off. I felt rejected and unwanted a lot, but blamed it on her being pregnant and just needing space. I think I started to feel this way around February when we had a somewhat big argument. We finally talked about some of these issues a couple weeks ago, how we had felt distant, and she said she had felt alone and unsupported. I told her I understood where she was coming from, acknowledged I wanted to work on things, communicate more, and just be a better husband for her. I really wanted to work on things and make everything perfect. I wanted her to feel like she could always talk to me, and that I never wanted her to feel alone. I felt terrible for how she had felt without realizing there was such a problem. She wanted to start couples counseling, which is scheduled for Thursday. She had even said she noticed things improving, and that I had really been trying since we talked. Then, just 2 days ago, she admitted to me she started having an affair with a coworker in November, which lasted until March. I was so shocked and in disbelief. I couldn't imagine her ever doing that. Especially while she was pregnant with my son. I feel so disgusted. I know things weren't perfect the last couple months, but I never realized there was an issue as early as November or bad enough to have an affair. I feel so hurt and betrayed that she was seeing someone else while we were a family together. We had family outings, buying each other Christmas gifts, bringing our daughter to see Santa at the mall, bringing her to her first haircut appointment together, her 3rd birthday. But during all of that time she was seeing someone else. It all feels like it's been a lie. She put on a happy face and continued on like normal. I never would have guessed she was having an affair for those months. I know things between us weren't perfect, and there were times I could have been better and took her for granted, but I never expected this. November is also when we stopped having sex. She told me at the time she was uncomfortable and worried about bleeding. I was disappointed but wanted to support her and didn't make a big deal out of it. But it turns out she was rejecting me because she was seeing somebody else. After talking for the past day, she's told me she's felt alone and unsupported for a while, maybe for a year before the affair. I honestly never knew that was how she felt. I feel so destroyed and hurt that she never even talked to me that she had felt that way for so long. So betrayed that she was seeing someone else for months while putting on a show and acting like things were okay at our house. She said she started seeing this other guy because she felt connected to him, but distant from me for so long. It hurts that she could feel that way while we've built a family together and been together for almost 13 years. That she could so easily feel connected to a guy she only knew at work for 2 months, but not her husband who was at home taking care of our house and daughter. I know I haven't been perfect and I can be distant at times, but I feel like I never did anything to deserve this. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm torn if I should give our marriage one last chance, even though I don't know if I could ever forgive and trust her again. Or just call it quits and respect myself enough to not be with a cheater. She told me the first time she was with him was right after a work function. I looked at my text history from that day, and it was so normal. All she said was, "Hey, about to leave work. Going to stop for food on the way home. See you soon." But no, she was out having sex with someone else while I was home watching our daughter. November was also the last time my wife and I had sex. She stopped having sex with me because she was with someone else. She even said to me I'm not a 403, I won't have sex with multiple people at the same time. That's why I stopped having sex with you. I always thought that she just wasn't up for it because of being pregnant. We've been talking a lot the past few days on how we got here. She's basically told me she's felt extremely distant and disconnected from me. Like I don't like or listen to her anymore. She said she started feeling this way around September 2017. Ironically, this was right around the time I terribly injured my back. For months I could barely walk, I couldn't put my shoes on, my leg would feel like it was on fire and go numb. I still have chronic 24/7 pain to this day. I know I wasn't myself during this time. I was extremely depressed and would cry a lot. Sometimes I would lash out in anger because of my pain. I wasn't able to be there for her because of what I was going through. Still, I never realized things had been that bad between us. I know we had rough patches, but thought we moved past it. I also know I haven't been the best husband. She always does 90% of the housework, drops and picks up our daughter from daycare. I stopped wearing my wedding ring a while ago, not for any good reason, just that it was uncomfortable and bothered me. I can be emotionally distant and dismissive at times. That sometimes I am really only affectionate with her when I want to have sex. She also said the last straw with feeling any connection with me was how my reaction to her finding out she was pregnant was so cold. I pretty much just said you're not surprised. I know how it works. I feel so bad for my 3-year-old daughter for what is going to happen. Her entire life has been her parents in a single-family home. And I can't believe this is where my partner and I are after so many years together. Am I completely insane for even considering trying to work things out between my wife and I? Update: DDAY was almost 6 months ago, when my son was 1 month old. My ex-wife had an affair with a coworker pretty much the entire time she was pregnant. Emotional and physical, the whole thing. I eventually learned that she was even texting apps saying she loved him, while I was in the hospital supporting her during the C-section. At times she was out with AP, while I was home watching our 3-year-old daughter. Yes, I'm sure he's my son, did the paternity test. My father was also a cheater. He was cheating on my mom, while she was pregnant with both me and my older sister. I always knew my father cheated, and that's why my parents divorced when I was only a few months old. Funny how now I also divorced when my son was around the same age that I was. For most of my life I remember my dad being active in my life and being a supportive parent. Even though he lived 3 hours away, we talked on the phone a lot, and he would come visit most every weekend. I think he changed a lot, and now even says he has no idea what he was thinking when he was younger. But lately, I feel like I have a lot of resentment towards him for doing to my mom what my ex-wife did to me. Maybe it's irrational for something that was 30+ years ago, but I guess how can I talk to him and feel supported when he did the same thing? The other night my daughter was in a Christmas play at church. So of course my family was there. But I just felt so awkward and alone. Sitting there with my cheating wife, cheating father, and my stepmom who was the AP 30+ years ago. It's been rough. Update: D-Day was when our son was 1 month old. Yes, he's mine, did the paternity test. After putting the pieces together, I learned she was out seeing AP, while I was home with our older daughter. That she was texting AP saying she loved him, while we were in the hospital together for her C-section. I'm so shocked and angry with everything, especially that this was going on while pregnant. I was doing the things I was supposed to be doing, like coming home early from work so she could go to prenatal yoga, and just generally trying to be supportive. But now I feel so used. So angry that while she was having an affair she still had the nerve to complain to me that I wasn't getting the baby room ready fast enough. She told me the reason she didn't want to be intimate with me during the pregnancy was because she was having an affair. I thought she just didn't want to be intimate because she was, pregnant and not feeling it. I thought I was being supportive. We went to a couple marriage counseling sessions, although I don't really know why. While in session she said to me, you need to see me as a co-parent, not as a romantic partner. She's just so cold and acts like she doesn't care at all about what she did. Then, I shouldn't have, but I read some of her texts to AP. She was telling AP I was toxic, apparently for being so angry at the situation, and just generally complaining about me to him. My son triggers me, although it's gotten better, it's just so hard knowing he was there. My wife told AP how I was struggling with things, and AP was making comments like, LOL, does he even know how to be a father? This is what the guy who was hooking up with my pregnant wife said. We have been living apart for several months now. But the anger still feels so strong. Sometimes I feel so overwhelmed from everything. How could I ever cope with this guy being part of my kids' lives after what's been done and said? Update. I've been living alone for over 2 years now. Still in the house we originally bought together. I also have our 2 kids 50% of the time. Even on days I don't have kids, I still get to bring them to and from school/daycare every day. Things seem pretty normal and routine at this point, and I don't get triggered anymore. The best thing is that I feel like I can bond better with my son now. He used to be such a trigger, and it would be really difficult to feel bonded knowing my ex-wife was carrying him during the affair. I haven't heard anything about AP since the divorce. I think that fell apart pretty quickly once everything came out. I started dating about a year ago and met someone that I get along really well with. She's met the kids a few times, and they really like her. We've even all done some small day trips together. It does seem a little funny now that my ex-wife is single after the affair while I am dating. I guess I'm sad on the kids' behalf that they have to grow up with divorced parents, and obviously it's something I never wanted for them. But overall things aren't too bad, and I'm trying my best for them. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Glad to hear you are doing well. I think stories and updates like these help those going through it realize there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to answer this, but I am curious. Have you ever asked her if the affair was worth it in the end? I respect if you have not, as she may take that as an opening, or has she ever hinted at anything like this? Congrats again on your progress. OP reply. I don't think I have ever outright asked her that. Or know how she would respond. In the past she had said things like, well, we were going to get divorced anyway. So I would guess to her the affair wasn't what tore things apart as much as it was happening eventually anyway. I thought things had been a little off for a few months, but I didn't really think much about it. At the time I just figured there were a lot of changes coming with the second baby, and being pregnant she just wanted space. I didn't think divorce was inevitable. And especially didn't suspect anything of an affair. Comment 2. Did your ex ever apologize or try to explain herself? Not that there is a good explanation. OP reply. Sort of. I think she basically said that she had been feeling distant for a while, and started talking to someone else at work. Then one thing leads to another, and yeah. I remember her also saying something like she never felt like she loved someone as much as AP. She did apologize for the affair. Basically saying she was wrong and shouldn't have done it. But never wanted to try and repair things. But then again she also said things like, well, we were going to get divorced anyway. So I don't know if she was really remorseful. My GF was furious when I told her how privileged she actually is compared to others. I, 27/F, have been with my girlfriend, 26/F, for 4 years now, but I have known her for longer, and we are in a happy relationship. However, she does sadly have a bad trait of disrespecting staff and people with lower income in general. Don't get me wrong, she's great, but that's her flaw, I guess. For the background, my girlfriend grew up rich, as her mother has her own successful business, and her father is a judge in an extremely high position. After she finished school, she wanted to study law just like her dad. Both her parents studied at Harvard, and now had in general very good contacts to many people in charge there. When my girlfriend decided that she wanted to go to Harvard too, she made her parents pull some strings, which definitely contributed to her getting accepted after all. I want to note that I have absolutely no problem with this. If she gets the chance to go to the university of her dreams, why wouldn't she take it? Now, a little over 2 years ago, when it came to actually finding a job, writing applications, and going to job interviews. She was very nervous about it, and her dad pulled some strings again on court to make the process easier and less stressful for her, which worked out excellent due to his good reputation and high position. Now we have both finished university, got our careers going, and moved in together. But lately, when we were in the car, she started ranting again about how much it annoys her when people complain about the low pay they get, since it's their fault that they were too lazy to get a better job. Then I said, I don't think you should judge other people's situations, as you don't know their backstories, and you gotta keep in mind that not everyone was as privileged as you. She gave me furious eyes and asked me what I meant. I explained that her parents definitely contributed to her success, and that not everyone was as lucky as her. She began freaking out, claiming that I said that she was stupid and wouldn't be anywhere in life without her parents' help, even though I said nothing like that. I told her that I would never think of her as stupid, and that it still takes a lot of work to get through university and get a good job, just that the jump there was easier for her than to some other. But now she hasn't spoken with me for days, and her friends also told me that I wasn't but for destroying her self-conception, and I feel bad because I really didn't want to hurt her, so aita. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. A quote that fits GF. Some people are born on third base and go through life thinking they hit a triple. She was just given a small loan of $1 million to achieve her life, but doesn't want to admit it because she only sees the things she did achieve: her grades, passing the bar, doing the work well enough to not be fired. A bunch of industries are more about who you know than what you know. She should just own it and stop being sh*tty to people who didn't win the genetic lottery. Comment 2. NTA but this isn't a flaw like not cleaning the shower drain well enough. This is a worldview she has that is fundamentally disrespectful to people who aren't as privileged as her. She's entitled, spoiled, and lacks empathy for others. I think you're kind of but if you stay with her, TBH. Comment 3. Let me get this straight, she got into Harvard, not by her own merit, but because she cheated to get in. Why do you not have an issue with this? Imagine if she took your spot there.